tomography. So you PET scan. You can do a PET scan. You inject this kind of compound, real short half-life, and you can image the brain, okay? The thing that's in red, that means that there's a lot of the thing there, okay? And the thing that means that shows that these are all this compound that is binding to it. This compound is a derivative of morphine, okay? This type of morphine. And then you see that this is where all this compound bound. And then when you stimulate, do electrical acupuncture, you stimulate by certain frequency, you notice that there are less of the thing bound. Okay? Same kind of level of morphine derivative was injected. You notice that it's all red become yellow. So you can see that there are some endogenous compounds are being released. I mean, there are many studies to prove that this is the case. So basically, now, all what I said to you is that the way to control pain is basically for morphine, it's changing emotion, it binds to a receptor, and then it goes to activate all these things that relieve your pain. And there are other ways to do that, like if you use acupuncture. But because I'm a pharmacologist, we have to talk about drugs, okay? So how can we deal with this kind of thing? We have drugs that really work morphine for pain, but then you have this problem of addiction. Okay, how can you deal with this kind of thing? So we'll give you a try. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is make kind of different drugs so that you don't have the abuse potential. Now, if you talk to the addicts, you ask them, why do you like these drugs versus the other? They will tell you that because they prefer the rush that they have. Meaning is that they want the drugs to go into the brain very quickly. That's why heroin is so much more favorable than morphine if you give it two drugs. Because heroin goes in the brain very fast. Okay? There's another drug that is being used in the clinic a lot, which is a really common drug called fentanyl, which is another things that you hear. In the news, you might sometimes hear that there's some super potent heroin in the market. Actually, those are fentanyl, okay, because they are synthetic, complete synthetic drug. They complete total synthesis. They are very potent, and they go in the brain very fast. They like that. So if you have things that doesn't go in very fast and they're oral active, it should be okay. And this is the first class of thing that actually people do is codeine. Codeine is a derivative of morphine. By itself, codeine doesn't work. It has to be changed in your body into morphine to work. So that means that, and most of the time, the conversion from any kind of drug is in your liver. Okay? So that means that that's why codeine is being used orally, because you have to take it, go through the liver, and convert it to morphine, and then it will work. Okay? This is a very good compound. It works very well. Okay? But then it's still, enough to be abused. There are other things that you see in the market that you see that you take this hydrocodone, oxycodone, hydromorphone. They're the same kind of drugs. Okay, the same kind of idea. Okay? They're orally active. They will do that. I'm sure that some of you heard about OxyContin, which is one of the serious problems the last decade in the abuse. It's not OxyContin. It's not because the ingredient is oxycodone. The same thing, oxycodone. It's orally active, and the thing is that Purdue Pharmaceutical about 10, maybe 15 years ago, decided to market oxycodone as what they call non-addictive opioid analgesics. The reason they say non-addictive opioid analgesics is because they use the new technology of microencapsulation. Okay, instead of rather just powder mix, they encapsulate the drug in those really sophisticated microencapsulation. So the thing will not go into your bloodstream very fast, control release, everything very good. Okay, and they market it in a really high concentration, something like as high as 160 milligrams per pill. Okay, so the thing here is that we normally see 10 to 20 milligrams per pill is good enough. They market 160 milligrams. So they say it's pretty good. The problem is that the addict is smarter than they are. Okay? They went home, smashed the pellet, crushed the thing, and they extract the drug out. So they have, with one prescription, have tons of things. That's why they're so they're being abused so much. But now, I think the third generation came out. The thing, I think it's going to be pretty good. Is the thing here is that the microencapsulation is still there, but when you want to dissolve it in water and inject it, that thing becomes a glue. Okay, you cannot do it. The chemistry in there is very good. And so as long as you use it properly, you'll get the drug. And this is one way that pharmacologists are doing that. The other way to do that is that, because remember what I say is that at the site of injury, that you can take non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, and it will put the pain. That's a different way of stopping the pain. So these are the formulations in the market. Basically, they combine either Tylenol and codeine or aspirin with oxycodone. So you have two drugs together. You say, why would this deter addiction, things like that? Because it's that when you use two drugs, you don't have to use more drugs. You have to use less drugs, okay, to get the same effect. So you get the same pain relief, but then you don't have to have exposed yourself to high concentration of the opioid drug. Now, this worked very well. As a matter of fact, this Vicodin and Tylenol 3 are the most prescribed medication in the world for pain. I think most prescribed period. But sometimes you say that you know that, just for anecdotal thing, that things like Percocet and Percocet are being abused by especially the professional football players. Okay? And because it's not because of the aspirin, because of the oxycodone, things like that. I think Brett Favre was hooked on Percocet when he was playing for the other team, Green Bay Packers. And there are also other drugs that take advantage of how the pain transmission are being carried and relate to the brain. And there are other neurotransmitter release, like, for example, this is a neurotransmitter called serotonin. Okay, serotonin is a neurotransmitter that can put you to sleep, actually. Okay, one of the things that. So there are compounds that prevent what we call the reuptake of the neurotransmitter after release. So in other words, that if the thing is blocked from being taken up by the nerve cell, it will stay in what the site of action is longer. Okay? So that means that if you have things stay here longer, this signal is going to be stronger. As simple as that. So there are compounds called tramadol, which is Outram. This is a really this is being used a lot in the clinic. Is that because this compound will activate what we call the receptor of the morphine receptor. Okay, and but the same compound will also block the uptake of the neurotransmitter. So that means that same compound, two different use. So by doing this, it also can use less of the drug to activate the morphine receptor to get the same effect. So this is pretty good. There's another one called tapentadol, which is a different neurotransmitter, the same idea. So these are the compound I say if you if you have a post-surgery, I think most of the time they will give that to you. The other way to do this are basically the control the release of the drug. And this is another way that's being done. That all these things are in the market, being used. But then, because that there are two, not two, there are more than two. There's another set of pharmaceuticals that's being used to give you pain relief, but then less of addiction thing, is that, and also reduce the side effect of the drugs, which I'm going to talk about a little bit, is that it makes the drugs like morphine, which activate the receptor, with a drug like naloxone, which kind of antagonizes. It means that it blocks the receptor action. Okay? You say you have a drug that activates and a drug that blocks. Okay? That cancel the effect. That makes it make sense. Okay? You got one. Okay? And then that's the reason behind this is this. This is another good pharmaceutical thing is that it's how they package the thing. It's not two drugs mixed together. They kind of separate. Just like you coat the encapsulated compound with one compound, and inside the encapsulated is another compound. The idea here is to deter abuse, because most of the time I told you that the addict want to rush. They don't want to ingest. They want to inject. Okay? They don't want to take it orally. They want to shoot it up. Okay? So they want to crush the thing and extract the drug morphine. If you take it correctly, the outer coat will dissolve, the morphine will get into your system, and the inner core naloxone will be excreted. You're fine. You get the pain relief effect of the drug. But you want to abuse it, you want to crush it, that the two things cancel each other, so you have no effect. This is a pretty good product. And then there's the same thing. This is a different kind of opioid, but because that this compound is very what we call lipophilic, it can go through your skin real easily, and some of these things are done by patch. Just put it right on your arm. I don't need to talk about this. So now, besides this now, okay, those are the pharmaceuticals. Now, how can we also relieve pain without any kind of addiction? This is what we call the intrathecal pain pump. Electronics is really big on this, okay? And basically, remember the pain transmission has to go through your spine, and if you block the transmission in your spine, you don't get anything in your brain, okay? So the way to do that is that you have to fill all the drugs like morphine in this pump, and you have a control, they control the release of the thing, and so you can get pain relief. This is good, it works, but once in a while, the major problem with putting morphine in the spine is that you itch like crazy. Okay? This is a really severe thing. Okay? Some patients just cannot tolerate that. They just itch, they have a lot of severe itching. That's what we study, kind of how can give this kind of thing without having the itching sensation. Okay? There's another way, which is far from thing. This is one of my funded projects by NIDA. which is trying to see, have the same similar thing. Instead of a pump, can we use gene therapy, put the genes in the site of where it is, and activate by a very specific, what we call designer receptor exclusive activated by designer drug. That means that you want to have something in there, in the pathway that control pain, but whenever you give it to the patient, will not activate anything except the receptor you put in. Okay, this is never going to come to market because gene therapy is not a really involved thing right now. But we have done this kind of stuff. We can show that in animal actually works. That you can put what do you call a designer receptor into the spinal cord, okay? What we call the dorsal root ganglion, all those things. This is just to show you that we did it. This is how we did it, okay? And you can see that if we don't activate that receptor, the animal will feel the pain. This is kind of pain kind of measurement. If you activate it, it doesn't feel the pain. That's very simple. So this is another way. This is what we thought that we can do, and maybe hopefully one of these days we can do that. But then, besides those kind of addiction problem, the drugs itself also has other issues. The major issue, if you have taken the drug itself, the first complaint you will have is GI tract constipation. For the male audience, the urination is really not pleasant. Okay, that's one of the side effects. But then the other thing that really about the drugs that the clinician has to keep track of, they really don't care about addiction too much because it's down the line. The thing is that what we call respiratory depression. That's how the drug will kill you because they will stop your breathing. So this is an issue that that clinicians have to deal with. And then there are other things that have to deal with is that sometimes is that when we give it the drug a long time, it loses its effect, tolerance, okay? But that's kind of expected. But this is the thing, this is a lot of work has been trying to figure out how to do this, is that sometimes we give the drug for a long time, the patient is more sensitive to pain. It's supposed to be pain relief, but then they're more sensitive to pain. They're more sensitive to touch, okay? Sometimes they're more sensitive to pressure, everything, okay? So this is the kind of thing that, this is not to talk about all the tolerance of hyperindigenesis. Just to give you an idea what the problem we face. So the thing that what we can do about those GI tract problems, the constipation, is that there's a couple drugs in the market right now that can use it for this problem. The idea is very simple because the drug has to go into the brain for it to feel pain, to control pain. So if you have the morphine can go into the brain to kill pain. And if you have an antagonist, a compound that blocks the morphine action in the GI tract, okay, then you can have pain relief and no constipation. And there are compounds, the antagonists, that do not cross into the brain and stay in the GI tract. And these are the two products. The methadone and naltrexone or Relestor or Antarac. They both is the way to get your gut to move. Okay? And this is being used in clinic. So what are we trying to do? I mean, this is the holy grail of the research. We want to find a drug that has high analgesic efficacy. That means that very, very, take a look, you have a lot of pain relief, okay? Not potency. Potency is just like you hear the commercial, this drug is very potent, more potent than that, throw that drug away, okay? Because that the medicine avenue doesn't understand pharmacology, okay? Because that efficacy is how much just like in scale 1 to 10, if the drug is 10, it's very efficacious. If the drug is 1, it's not efficacious. The drug is very potent, but only 1. Potent means that how little the drug you need to get that efficacy, 1. So if you hear the thing say, this drug is more potent than other drug, you ask them, does it work the same? Right? You can have very, very potent, but it's no use. So you have the efficacy. You have the minimal addiction potential, constipation action, and respiratory depression. Is there any hope that we can get that? I think there is, and I'm going to stop after talking this. Last year, a year and a half ago, finally the receptor that is responsible for the morphine action has been crystallized. It means that we know the structure of the receptor. Okay? We know exactly how the receptor looks. This is just the scientific imagination. Side view, top view, bottom view, okay, how it looks. Okay? So now what is that now we can have a rational design. Something about research is interesting is that some kid will sit there in front of a computer and try to figure how to fit a molecule into this little crack, okay? And see how the thing will work. And rational design is that you can see by the model, you say this is what the drug is supposed to look like in the receptor and how the receptor is supposed to look like when the drug is there. And we know from experience, morphine have a certain kind of response. So if we have a drug, okay, a molecule that fit into this thing better than morphine, there might be a better drug. And we know that if we say, if this ribbon here move a certain way, and that's the reason why we cause certain kind of adverse effect, the bad effect of the drug, can we find a molecule won't move the ribbon that way or the other way? So this is the way that the approach that the pharmacologists are taking, trying to use the structure of a protein to design a drug. Eventually, one of this day, that we'll find what I just showed the last slide, a perfect opioid analgesic.
Is that made out of morphine receptor?
This is what we call a real opioid receptor. Yeah. Okay. There are 3 opioid receptors. Yeah. So thank you for your attention. I hope that I answered some of the questions.
I was wondering about your opinion about people take some like ibuprofen before doing exercise, like preventing getting pain.
Very good question. Can I have a drink first? The question was, there are some people want to take things like ibuprofen before any kind of surgery or any kind of pain episode to prevent pain, right? That actually is a good thing to do, okay? Because it's common sense. Let's talk about common sense first and then I'll talk about science. Okay? Common sense is that if you have a headache, you want to take the aspirin or Tylenol before you got a full-blown headache. It will take you much longer for the headache to go away, right? Mm-hmm. Scientifically, is that there are studies, not that it's a study. There are studies on how to use morphine in hospital. Okay. Now, or morphine-related compound in the hospital. One way to do that is that you know that you can, in a hospital, you can press a button, the nurse will come in and give you an injection. Say, I feel pain, I feel an injection, okay? In that sense, there are studies done is that they call patient control anesthesia. So basically, they put an IV in you with a pump pre-programmed that you say you can have so much morphine in 4 hours. Okay? So the patient say, I feel pain, I press a button, there will be an injection. Okay? Now the patient can keep pressing it, but they cannot get any more. Right? So, but anyway, the long story is that if you look at the what's the frequency, the amount of the painkiller they took during the stay in the hospital, all comes out is that if the patient control anesthesia is much less than when the nurse come in to give an injection. So the idea, the conclusion has to be, if you prevent the pain from going on, you use less drug.
Thank you. It's a very, about 2 weeks ago, I found a very good article. This says prescribed opioid drugs increase, death,死亡率 increase like 45%. Funny things, cocaine and heroin 就是海洛因，the drug. That means you get the narcotics from the doctor much easier than get from the what do you call it? The drug pusher. And the heroin becomes cheaper and cheaper, and you know the drug pusher doesn't know the dose. He can make a cut. So strong, so many people dead. That's only a few. But anyway, statistic, United States, the cocaine and the heroin drug. Now, that must be the prescribed so easy, doctor, it's so easy to give it. Actually, you get a lot of article. It's not morphine, it's a prodrugs. They hydrolyze, become morphine, like you said. I have a fundamental question with this one. During the World War II, there was a paratrooper, American paratrooper. The day before, the D-Day, he jumped behind the line. 一个伞兵，他在这个第2次世界大战那个诺曼底登陆之前，他先跳下去。他的 somehow his what they call his parachute hang on the tree. Hang on the tree during that time. Certainly true. There was a group of the what the parachute set drop down. German uses machine gun to shoot. Yes. We have a friend here. He's from the 黄埔军校毕业. That's right. That soldier was so nervous. He immediately take out his knife and cut. In the same time, he cut out one of his fingers. Yes, that's true. This is a true story. However, we don't know what. During that time, I always wondered myself. During that moment, the things was synthesized by him is endorphin. Endorphin is 内吗啡, endomorphin from the brain. Or simply his mind blocked the thing. He will not feel pain. 很简单，大家知道，如果一个追你，你这个赤脚跑，你一个刺扎到你的这个脚底下，为了你的命，你不会觉得这个刺痛，你会跑到安全地方再拔这个刺。但是你现在你要是没有这个老虎追你的时候，你就会觉得这个是痛。所以这个 pain is very subjective. What do you think? His endorphin or simply some mind block?
No. I mean, you can have any kind of hypothesis, okay? Because in one sense, I don't want to just say human mind is very amazing, okay? There are many reasons for that, okay? One thing is that his autonomic nervous system is really, activated, okay? Autonomic nervous system is the thing that control our daily life. We don't subconsciously, we breathe and things like that. It's our autonomic nervous system, okay? get really activated, just like they call, all kinds of neurotransmitters being released. Not just endorphin, all kinds of things are being released at that time. Okay, you can have all this blood pressure goes up, all those things, everything's happening. Yes, there may be endorphin release, just like there have been, as in the late 70s and early 80s, that when I first started in the field, that's when the endorphins has been identified. One thing that they say, they all knows about runner high, okay? People say you run, and then you get a high, okay? Because the endorphins, the genes that I didn't go into, also contains the stress hormone, ACTH. Okay? It's a stress hormone, okay? So when you're stressed, the hormone is released together with the endorphin. Okay? This is the way your body, yeah. This is the way your body wants to protect you. Okay? You cannot have too much stress. You cannot have too much relax. Okay? You cannot relax too much. You cannot stress too much. Okay? So it's amazing stuff. So in one sense, is that you can say that during that time, the paratrooper, his stress are high, all his hormone system going up, so he got all the things, endorphin released. Why not? But to tell the truth, nobody can prove the endorphin release in the runner high. Okay? They cannot.
May I say one thing? There's, yeah, just a second. We talk about acupuncture. Yeah. At the Mayo, I developed a test to measure the beta endorphin from the blood. And there's so many people, they know how to do that. Acupuncture. I say, send me blood. I test you endorphin. Nobody wants to sell me. They say, you need spinal fluid. Okay. Another thing is, we all heard about that. Years ago, there was in China, they used acupuncture without anesthesia to operate the patient. We had so many schoolmates, they run over to learn. Say, yeah, well, a funny thing, find out, not everybody qualified to do that kind of procedure. And it seems that you have to know Mao Yilu better. Then you're mentally prepared, then you can do that. Otherwise, not everyone, highly selective. Yeah, that's, you already, yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Professor. You have a great presentation. So that's a fantastic presentation. I really love this topic. My question is, you mentioned in US, we consume almost 23 tons, morphine. And this is more than half of the world consumption. And US only account for less than 5% of the world population. We use more than 50% of the morphine. And the problem is getting worse and worse. Every year, only the overdose causes death more than car accident in US. And my question is, what is the future? And do we just can't, produce more and more? Cause, these 23 tons go to 30 tons, 50 tons, and where's the future? Thank you.
Well, I think in general, U.S. consume almost most of the things in the world, everything. Okay, this morphine is no exception. We are, I think, society of excess. The future, it is a serious problem, no question about it. I think I just want the tonnage to come out to give you guys the impression. It's not like, I'm sure that most of you don't have prescription of oxycodone or codeine or things like that. But it is a very severe problem. The reason is that I hate to say that, the physicians are not trained as a pain management people, okay? Most US physicians, they come in here in the pain, okay, go and take the drug, okay? They won't spend more than 5 minutes with you, okay? So what the current, hopefully, the medical education that we have is that we have more and more lectures on pain management. Okay? There are some specialists in pain management. I don't want to advertise, but U of M has a pain management clinic. Okay? But the thing here is that if the insurance companies start paying for that kind of stuff, okay, and really get into this pain management thing, there are all kinds of things that you can control pain that without using morphine. But then it will put me out of business, so. So, but, I mean, that's for joking aside, and that's what this is all about. So, there are, you know, I think that, hopefully, the reason is so much is that it's so cheap and easy to make. Okay? I mean, if you look at that, don't believe that all this new discoveries will make the pharmaceutical company a lot of money. The pharmaceutical company makes most money on aspirin and morphine. Yeah, they make most money on that kind of stuff.
Two short questions. First question is that I think you mentioned that by taking morphine, it kind of help you release some kind of chemical called dopamine.
Yes.
So that's how it causes you the sensation of pleasure.
That's what we call euphoria, makes you feel
Yeah,
floating and feel good. Yeah.
that's right. So my question is that have you thought about maybe you can somehow chemically create this dopamine to replace morphine, so you can treat the
But
patients
dopamine
with
is
that.
is in the wrong place. Okay, if you, I mean, a lot of drug, mainly, what is dopamine? I tell you, dopamine, a lot of the dopamines in morphine actually is a lot of the motor function too. Okay, the dopamine neurotransmitter. Say some of those antipsychotic drugs, they're acting at the dopamine receptor. Okay, so it's not easy to say I'm going to design something, then you cause all kinds of different things happen. You see what I'm talking about? The thing is usually target at those receptor, like morphine receptor, that's known to control pain. Okay? If you want to get high, I can tell you what you can do to get
Okay, one other question. I think I read somewhere, I don't remember, maybe from the internet, that the pain, the feeling of pain actually help you heal. Because of the pain signal to your brain, your body would do something to that pain to somehow help it heal. I don't know if this is true, but if it is true, then if you use all these painkillers to block that sensation, so it's kind of counterproductive. So yeah, that's my question.
I mean, I don't want to brush it off, things are more complicated than that. But things are more complicated than that. Yes, I think that it is no good to say complete block the pain. Yeah. Okay, that's because that pain is a survival mechanism. Okay, you cannot say I can eliminate all the pain receptor. Okay, we can eliminate all the pain receptor. As a matter of fact, you can. As a matter of fact, anyway, the thing here is that you have to have the pain sensation for us to survive, in one sense. Okay, so whether we want to completely block out the pain and things like that, I don't think that will be the way that I would want to go.